Hey everyone, welcome to the post-game show. Now, for this episode, I'm going to try very hard to hold myself back, as if I didn't, I would probably say all sorts of colorful words that would for sure get me demonetized. This game pretty much just proves how terrible this team is. As you know, this entire season I've been sort of giving them the benefit of the doubt. I've been pointing out the positive because a lot of the Eagle fans tend to be, the sky is falling after every loss and after most wins, and I wanted to sort of be and I sort of didn't want to be like that, and I'm never like that. But I find myself actually agreeing with those people right now. This team, theoretically, could still make the playoffs. They just need to win the last 4 games, and they'll be in. So this was kind of, I guess you could say, a pseudo pointless game at this point, but it's a game that the Eagles definitely needed to win. They needed to win like by a blowout, much less actually win. I don't know what this team is with struggling against Ryan Fitzpatrick, but it seems to always happen. I mean, you also had the game last year against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers where all those Fitzmagic memes came from, and it's just I don't get it. The only thing I don't get is the defense. Like, how is it that you shut down the Patriots, who granted are really terrible offensively this year, and you shut down Russell Wilson last week, but yet you completely crap the bed against the Miami Dolphins, a team that pretty much just traded away their whole defense earlier this year. Or rather, I wouldn't say their whole defense, but probably the biggest player on their defense, another Fitzpatrick, not the QB, but the CB, traded him away to Pittsburgh, and that was a deal that a lot of the Eagles fans are criticizing Howie Roseman for not taking advantage of, and that is kind of, I guess, semi-warranted. This game was also a game where the secondary just got flat out embarrassed. I mean, aside from Ronald Darby's solid play in the first game, he just got torched all game. Jalen Mills did suffer a bit of a mismatch this game too, and they were just getting constantly burnt. And what makes this worse is the Eagles did jack to adjust to it. They didn't make any sort of adjustments whatsoever. They played the same damn thing the whole game, and the Dolphins pretty much torched them the whole damn game. Well, the Dolphins' defense did actually change things up, and they were actually able to stop the Eagles on a few drives, which just shows how pathetically bad this offense is. The fact that okay, I shouldn't say they're pathetically bad, but because the offense did have a few solid drives, I'll take that back. The offense did have some very strong drives. They got into a good rhythm, and then the second half they just completely disappeared after the first drive. They did nothing. It was like 3 punts, and then the Dolphins are over here just pretty much scoring nearly on every drive. I mean, why is it that the Eagles always make Ryan Fitzpatrick look like the next GOAT whenever they play him? It's always like that, and this team has reached a new low of underachieving. How is it that you lose to this team that has pretty much gone through more players than we had, and with your health players coming back healthy? I mean, it just shows that how terrible this team is. And this team, okay, I'm gonna say it, they are worse than the 2015 Eagles. A team, yes, worse than a team that is way worse than their 7-9 record would suggest. Because at least that team had that moment where they did that miraculous game against the Patriots. At least that team had that. What does this team have? The only game I think this year where I think both sides of the ball played well was against the Jets, and the Jets are debatably a worse team than the Dolphins. Debatably a worse team than the Dolphins, and that is the one positive moment from the season. This season has been, aside from the injuries, this team has been riddled with really late starts, being unable to finish, and being unable to adjust. and it has been killing this team. And like I said, like I've been saying for the last few weeks, Mike Gaw needs to go. And even though there wasn't really much offensive woes in the first half, his play calling is very stagnant. And also, Jim Schwartz might be on that block now because his defensive schemes, like, they are becoming really easy for other defenses to pick apart. And it shows. There really wasn't anything good in this game. I mean, even Zach Ertz had two very costly drops in this game, and once had quite a few overthrown throws. This game just proves that this wide receiver core pretty much needs to be nearly completely overhauled next year, and there is not a lot of good I saw in this game. And also, what's the point of winning the division at this point? I mean, even if you're a Cowboys fan, you're watching and you're laughing at me because Eagles lost to the Dolphins. What's the point? We both know that regardless if the Eagles or the Cowboys win the division, they're going to get bounced out of the playoffs in the first round. They are going to get smoked. They really. Let's be real here. Neither the Eagles or Cowboys really have a chance. I mean, yes, they theoretically have the chance at the 4th seed, but look at like all the other teams in the NFC. They pretty much have next to no chance of actually doing a playoff run. They are just, it's just more of sacrificing draft stock for the sake of playing for an extra week. That's all it is. There's playing down to your competition, and then there's whatever the Eagles were doing. The Eagles had a solid first half offensively, but then after the first drive, like I said, they just went completely nowhere. They were pretty much gone, and this is a game that just frustrates me on so many levels. This team actually, to me, is more disappointing than the Dream Team. Because at least with the Dream Team, you kind of knew that Andy Reid, you kind of knew that I don't mean to be mean to Andy Reid, but you did kind of know that the Super Bowl was kind of a stretch with him as a coach, especially of that Eagles team. Because Andy Reid is a good coach, he just really can't get over that hump, and there's always that feeling like maybe they were a disappointment because they weren't a playoff contender, but it wasn't like this team where like this team is supposed to be better than the team that won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. This team is supposed to be better than them. Does this crap make them look like they're a better team? When you watch this game, do you think, this team is better than the 2017 Eagles? They don't have the same chemistry, they don't have that same swagger, they don't have the same discipline, they don't have the same execution, they don't have the same creativity. Pretty much everything from that team is pretty much gone, and it's just a lifeless corpse on the field. That is what I see when I see this team play, is just lifeless, uninspired people. Okay, so where do the Eagles go from here? Like I said, if they choose to fight for the playoff spot, they're going to get bounced in the first round, and they're going to screw up their draft stock. However, if the Eagles go and tank, I think if they at best get the 6-10 record, because the Washington Redskins are also debatably tanking at this point, and also there's also quite a few teams tanking. I don't think 6-10 is going to be a low enough record for a top 10 pick. That's where the Eagles are at right now. It's like they are pretty much looking in the draft stock wise at a pick between number 10 and 18. That's sort of where they're looking. And the season's like a borderline lost cause when I'm already starting to talk about draft stock. Because this team really doesn't give me anything to look forward to, especially these last 3 weeks. Like, it makes no sense. Like, and also the season's like filled with excuses. Like, oh, we gotta execute better. We just gotta execute better. Then freaking do it. Stop saying it and actually do it for once. The Eagles have not adjusted and they haven't made up for their mistakes all season. Like, the best they did was, they'll beat up on an inferior opponent or they'll win a game against an opponent that's too close for comfort. It's like, even though this team's getting healthier, it's like somehow these decisions and such are just getting worse. How is it that a team is getting worse the healthier they're getting? That's what this team looks like right now. Ever since the bye week, when a bunch of defensive players have come back, they are 0-3. They are on a 3-game losing streak right now. I don't care if the first 2 games were against the Patriots and Seahawks. Okay? Because after those 2 games, the Eagles should have, especially with that high level of an opponent, the Eagles should have came into this game like it should have been a massive mismatch in terms of power scaling. Okay, I don't really know where I was going with that analogy, but like I'm trying to think of it like they played against 2 teams that are going to make the playoffs against a team that is fighting for the first overall pick. Which is kind of an easy opponent, which is a very easy opponent looking in comparison. And one that you shouldn't be struggling that bad against, especially if you had played previously against players who are definitely vastly superior to players on that team. Okay, like I said, this is kind of a rant, not really a coherent thing, so my points may be jumbled and stuff. I mean, I would say something like, at least we have the Sixers or whatever, but, we're back to the Philly sports cycle. Eagles disappoint, at least we have the Sixers. Sixers are going to disappoint, at least we have, or Sixers or Flyers, both of them. And then they disappoint us, at least we have the Phillies. And then, cycle continues every year. That's usually how it goes. And then we also have and also because arena football closed, it's not like you can go, oh hey, we're arena football champions, even though that doesn't matter since there's only 4 teams. So yeah, this is a game where after this game, I'm going to be disappointed if heads are not rolling. Not calling for Doug Peterson's job, but other people. And this game just broke me. I literally have almost no positive things to say about this Eagles team right now. This team is trash. Actually, no. Trash had use at one point. Alright, I'm not even gonna end with the song, okay? I'm not gonna end with the Fly Eagles Fly song because this team doesn't deserve that with this performance. They do not deserve this, and this video does not deserve any optimism from it. This game broke me. Completely broke me. Now, I'll see you all next week with this, if you're only here for the sports videos, I guess, but yeah. Have a great day.